A young woman's life was taken just 2 weeks short of her 19th birthday. This is the heartbreaking story of Dynasty Alexander.
Deputies continue to investigate this case as a homicide. They're asking if anyone has information to come forward.
Something shocking, you don't expect it.
Isabel Navarez, a mother of two, brings her little girls to El Bayou Regional Park every now and then. She says it's devastating to think there's crime no matter where you go.
Sometimes we just gotta get away from the chaos, get away from it. But to hear about, it's just kind of sad.
Again, if anyone has information, you are urged to call the Tulare County Sheriff's Office. In Tulare County, I'm Angelica Leilani, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
Before I begin today's story, I want to provide a brief disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes. I provide commentary, criticism, and relay facts and theories regarding underreported criminal cases centered around women of color. I compile information from news outlets, social media, public records, and court documents. My intention is not to defame, slander, or spread misinformation. Viewers are more than welcome to do their own research. On Sunday, March 3rd, 2019, Dynasty's family and friends got horrible, earth-shattering news that would change their lives forever. Her body was found near an orchard around 5 p.m., close to Elm Bayou Park. That's outside of Tulare limits. It's been reported that there were signs of foul play, and an autopsy would be conducted the next day. Police urged the public to call Crime Stoppers if they had any pertinent information. Honestly, the news is shocking to everyone in Tulare, California. I know this is going to sound very cliche, but things like this don't really happen there. Compared to other cities in California, Tulare is basically a safe haven. There's somewhere around 70,000 residents. It's a tight-knit community, a laid-back city. Most people are really comfortable just walking around at night with practically little to no fear of being harmed in any way. Dynasty's murder was like the wake-up call that everyone needed to watch their backs. Another thing that was hard for people, specifically Dynasty's family, to come to terms with is that her life was taken before she was able to turn things around. You see, the young woman was once a church-going, happy-go-lucky California girl, but at the age of 17, things started to go downhill. She became addicted to an unknown substance, and she started running away from home on a regular basis and eventually became homeless. It's not clear why she was running away. I wish I had that information. I can only presume that Dynasty may have fallen in with the wrong crowd, like a lot of kids her age usually do. Maybe she didn't like following rules. Her cousin did describe her as hard-headed, or perhaps her home life just wasn't ideal, so she decided to remove herself from whatever was causing her pain. In spite of that, her mother, Monisha Alexander, still loved her daughter no matter what. And no matter how much she struggled, she never turned her back on her troubled daughter, and neither did the rest of Alexander's. So she was in and out of her family and friends' lives, but only for a few days at a time. But Dynasty would just spend a few nights at home or at a friend's house, but not for long. Dynasty didn't like to overstay her welcome. Okay, apparently she was very proud. She was a very proud young woman, and she wasn't crazy about asking for things. So instead, Dynasty would often return to the streets, and that was probably her downfall. Now, just take a look at her before and after. Sadly, she became the kind of person most people would look at, unfortunately, and think, what happened? What went wrong? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful or disparage Dynasty in any way. I'm just trying to illustrate that she seemed to be in the throes of her dependency. She's like one of Mark latest subjects on Soft White Underbelly. She was just a far cry from the girl she used to be. The saddest part about this is that Dynasty was actually taking active steps to change the course of her life. She sought help from Genesis House. It's a shelter in South Central, and she even met the founder, Kathy Looper. She concluded that Dynasty wasn't ready to change just yet. The old adage applies here: you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Everyone around Dynasty wants more for her than she wants for herself, and it's hard to watch, but it's to be expected. Kicking an addiction is hard to do. 85% of individuals relapse within a year of treatment, according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse. Dynasty's family thought she had all the time in the world to recover, and someone took that opportunity away. Fortunately, Dynasty is linked to a relatively known man within the community, her cousin Carlton Jones, the former mayor of Tulare and a pro MMA fighter. So he becomes the spokesperson for the family, and he very eloquently provides much needed insight on Dynasty's life, all while painting her as a sympathetic character.
I love Dynasty like she was my own child.
Carlton Jones, Tulare councilman and cousin of Dynasty Alexander, said family members had just seen her last week.
Now our faith is in the system that, through the process that the Tulare County Sheriff's Department can put together a good case.
He was able to humanize Dynasty and propel the public's interest in the case.
Police assured Carlton that they're going to work fast and catch the person that killed Dynasty. And within 48 hours, they found their suspect. A traffic stop is what led police to a 52-year-old man from Porterville with a very lengthy criminal record, dating back all the way to 1995. He's the kind of man no woman of any age should come into contact with. Dale has serious anger management issues and absolutely no regard for the law. And the family wonders what brought these two together in the first place. Police are convinced, and this is just speculation, police are convinced that Watson was looking for or to engage in some type of illicit activity, either sex work or chemical abuse, and sadly, he set his sights on Dynasty. I want to make this clear that there are no reports that suggest that Dynasty obtained her narcotics through transactional sex. Sex work and narcotics do go hand in hand, along with boosting. In my opinion, it's very likely that the lifestyle made her more prone to interact with unsavory characters like Dale. Now, authorities found the two on security footage of an apartment in Tulare the day before her life was taken. Can be seen offering the troubled youth a ride, and she can also be seen willingly getting into his truck. So I know that sounds crazy, but I want to remind you all that this is a smaller city and people are less cautious. It's a small community and everyone feels safe to accept rides and all sorts of things. So also, according to Carlton, Dynasty wasn't the kind of girl who practiced discernment. He told a reporter she trusted and liked just about anybody, and someone took advantage of that. Now, apparently Dynasty wanted a ride to a store, and sometime during their return from the trip, she was strangled and shot up her body. On Tuesday, August 9th, 2021, Watson was sentenced to 43 years to life in prison. On Saturday, March 17th, 2019, Dynasty's family and friends gathered to celebrate her 19th birthday. Just a few yards away from where her body was discovered, balloons with messages like "Happy Birthday," "Love you always," and "You are a winner" were released in her memory. Some old classmates even showed up. Even though they would miss her terribly, they found comfort in knowing that Dynasty was no longer struggling and she was in a better place. So I hate to admit this, but I used to accept rides from strangers when I was young and dumb. And I also lived in a community where I felt like nothing would happen to me, but I'm older now and I know better. So one wrong choice completely altered the course of Dynasty's life. She probably thought that she was invincible. I know that I did. And Dynasty's gone, and all we can do now is use her story as a cautionary tale. Be vigilant, be thoughtful, and be willing to learn from the experiences of others. Okay, guys, thank you for killing time with me, and I'll see you in the next one.